NoFap, the true story, how it changed my life. In this video, I'm going to talk about how NoFap can change lives. Hi everybody, and welcome to One Mail. I want to talk about an issue that doesn't get enough attention in NoFap. This video is all about the changes that I have noticed when I first started my journey with this and why I made the decision to change for good. Now, before you stop watching because you think this is some kind of a religious or moral video, let me assure you that it's not. In fact, the opposite is true. What I want to share with you today is how NoFap can change your life for the better in ways that you never thought possible. Proponents of NoFap argue that it can lead to greater self-control and willpower, as well as increased focus and productivity. Additionally, some research has suggested that giving up pornographic materials can improve mental and physical health. For example, one study found that NoFap participants reported reduced anxiety and depression symptoms and increased self-esteem. While there is still much debate surrounding the efficacy of NoFap, its popularity continues to grow. As more people seek ways to improve their health and well-being, NoFap will likely continue gaining momentum. Even for some males, NoFap has evolved into something closer to religion in a short amount of time. For ages, men everywhere have been sitting in front of a computer, often in a dark room, seeing things they shouldn't be watching and sending out a distinctive sound throughout the halls of their homes. Fat, fat. Is this ordinary noise or the sound of your pride and masculinity being stripped away with each FAP? I'm guessing you understand the recovery process if you've heard about the NoFap movement. It all begins with the first step, deciding to alter your life for the better. Many people go through life without ever stopping to think about whether or not they are happy with the way things are going. They wake up each day and go through the motions, never taking the time to examine their lives and see if there might be a better way to live. However, there comes a time in everyone's life when they reach a crossroads and have to make a decision. Should they continue down the same path or take a risk and try something new? For many people, the thought of change is scary. It's much easier to stay in their comfort zone and stick with what they know. But comfort can also be stagnant and boring. Life is all about taking risks and making changes, whether big or small. Sometimes, all it takes is one brave decision to alter your life for the better. Who knows what amazing things could happen if you just took that first step? Regardless of where you are on your NoFap journey, you must be aware of the symptoms of recovery that indicate that your mind and body are correctly rebooting, since that is, at its heart, what NoFap is. If you've been fapping much too much for far too long, it's like hitting the reset button on your life. The thing that I find interesting is that I first noticed that I am starting to feel more like a guy. Testosterone is the primary hormone that makes you a man. It is responsible for your deep voice, body hair, and muscle mass. It also plays a role in your sex drive and energy levels. For many men, these are vital factors in their sense of self and overall confidence. That's why the most well-known research on the advantages of NoFap is so significant. The study found that there was a significant rise in testosterone around the 7-day mark. This boost in testosterone can have a profound impact on a man's sense of self and overall confidence. In addition to the benefits to your psychological well-being, the increase in testosterone can also lead to physical benefits such as increased muscle mass and a higher drive. This will have a tremendous rippling impact on your whole body. The second benefit of the NoFap method in my life is an improved general attitude and perspective on life. The neurotransmitter dopamine serves crucial roles in learning, motivation, and pleasure and is produced in the brain's dopamine region. This region of the brain is constantly activated when engaging in self-pleasuring behaviors or consuming pornographic media, leading to a decrease in dopamine production. This can make it hard to enjoy life outside of work and deplete your motivation to achieve your goals. Furthermore, repeated activation of the dopamine region might cause circuitry alterations that are not easily undone. Self-pleasure and pornographic viewing can alter brain circuitry and reduce dopamine levels, making it more difficult to feel pleasure. So, since NoFap prevents overstimulation of the reward area in your brain, your emotions should begin to level out, and you should ultimately start to appreciate the small things in life. More excessive fapping is similar to any other very poor habit in that the more you do it, the more pathways in your brain are formed to make you better at that activity. That is why you would sometimes find yourself wanting to find something more satisfying but ending up not finding it. Can you even imagine if you continue that for so long? But here's the reality about the NoFap recovery process and how it altered my life. As I previously said, my issue was with women, not my hand. So, when I started my NoFap adventure, I essentially had to keep away from girls. In a previous video on pursuing ladies, I said that many men end up chasing girls because they lost out on many fun experiences other guys had when they were younger. But after they became wiser and better and acquired all the gorgeous females they'd always desired, they realized it wasn't all that essential. As a guy, you must realize that women prefer power just as much as men do, but unlike males, they are far more covert about how they achieve it. For example, in ancient times, there was the Trojan War, which a beautiful lady sparked. The fact is that a single lady ignited a whole war. Viewing this video, you already know how much power women can have over you. The reason you can't stop fapping is the same reason the Trojan War occurred. So I began my NoFap adventure because I realized that the good experiences you have with women aren't that necessary. And to be honest, men's lives can be profoundly affected by women's attractiveness. The attraction that males feel for gorgeous women, for better or worse, can cause a lot of trouble. For instance, a man's attention may become so focused on a stunning woman that he stops caring about his responsibilities at work and home. Or, a man could fall in love with a woman's physical perfection to the point where he can't see past it. A man's life can be negatively impacted in either instance because of a woman's beauty. Attraction to a gorgeous woman, of course, also has its advantages. To win her heart, he may push himself to new heights. Or, he may be inspired to take better care of himself to be worthy of her attention. Although, in the end, it is up to each guy to decide how he will react to the attractiveness of women in his life. Sure, they might be entertaining, but the instant women become the only thing you think about or care about, you become a slave to them. My life changed forever when I learned that pleasure with women isn't all that significant. This way of thinking no longer had control over me. He who subdues himself shall be free, a great saying once said. People attempt to convince you that fapping, like everything else that has turned you into an enslaved person, is all mental. Everything in life is a mental game. The person who succeeds with NoFap is the one who psychologically conquers himself. I started smoking cigarettes about 10 years ago for almost 2 years because of the stress at the time, but one day I decided enough was enough and quit. I craved for a while, but the pain of what I would lose if I didn't stop smoking far outweighed the temporary benefit I would gain. The NoFap recovery process is similar to lining up a stick in that you must consider the agony of what you will lose out on if you continue to fap. The most important thing I recovered in my life due to not having FAP was not an increase in testosterone or more significant attention. In truth, there was nothing physical about it. My single most significant gain was when I quit pursuing ladies and lusting for females, which is essentially the same as fapping. If you're a man who faps too much, don't worry about going to prison since you're already in one, and this prison has more prisoners than all of the world's jails combined. Here is what I want you to ponder. It's easy to think that pornographic media and masturbation are just a bit of harmless pleasure, but they have significant repercussions. Excessive viewing of pornographic material has been linked to a decline in libidinal and sexual satisfaction. In addition, the addictive nature of pornography might drive people to seek out increasingly violent and sexually provocative content. Over time, this can lead to desensitization, isolation, and other psychological disorders. Masturbating while watching porn fosters negative ideas about sexuality. Sex stops being seen as a loving act between two consenting adults and instead becomes a means to an end of satisfying one's sexual desires. This can make it hard to meet compatible partners, which can jeopardize your happiness. These are just some of the many reasons why it's crucial to prioritize the growth of healthy sexual relationships over the pursuit of pornographic entertainment. If you don't, you can miss out on some critical stages of maturation. The most apparent problem in relation to this is that most guys are unaware that they are entangled. Excessive fapping is a mental prison, and once you break out, you will feel fantastic. Mastering others is strength, but mastering oneself is the ultimate power, is the quote I really admire and always go to. My NoFap journey revolutionized my life because it liberated me from a prison I had created for myself, and the physical advantage of recovery was enormous. I want to personally say that it may sound scary at first thinking that you can't do it, but trust me, you will never regret it. However, the mental or psychological ones have lingered with me long after the physical ones have faded. When you fap excessively, you're essentially beginning your own Trojan War inside your brain, but more importantly, you're giving up your freedom since you've lost control over yourself. But now it's time for a new you, a new master. It's time to truly control yourself, reclaim your dignity and authority as a man, and break free from the mental prison you built for yourself. Don't let fapping take away your freedom and growth. Own your life now.